let's talk a little bit about why this is a game changer.
It was a game changer in terms of the fact that up until now we've had financials, we've had covered bonds, we've never had corporate bonds being put into the mix of the asset purchase programme. It's been spoken about a lot. The fact that Mr Draghi has now included that, I think, is a game changer. We've seen that in terms of the market reaction for equities and for credit markets, more importantly, over the last 24 hours. A very sharp and dramatic tightening within investment grade and within high yield. And therein lies perhaps some of the issue or some of the questions going forward. While you're going to add 20 billion to your asset purchase programme within euro-denominated non-bank investment-grade bonds, the potential for crowding out is quite significant and is causing a lot of sort of debate, I believe, in the market over the past 24 hours. And we'll see what that brings going forward. But more questions than it possibly answers.
John, we just need to see how this works. Do we need to get an understanding? Because we are seeing a fairly significant pivot here. We haven't seen this yet. You could tally this with the TLTRO as well and what that's doing to bank credit. Some interesting moves, but we still don't fully understand them yet.
I think we need to distinguish the opportunity for investment managers, which is great, because obviously there will be a lot of impacts on the credit market, and there is a lot of alpha generation possibilities for investment manager right now on the credit market, so that's great for us. But the second question is it great for the economy? And I think that the key question is to what extent this kind of program will be constrained, if you want, by the regulatory environment affecting banks, which are still in a phase of deleveraging, capital raising, and therefore a bit constrained, if you want, in their capacity to lend more to the economy.
But isn't that exactly what he's targeting? So you look at a curve of banks' sort of cost of capital. They've got lots of very cheap money at the sort of the left-hand side, and they've got a problem with expensive money over at the right-hand side. But they've got these boxes because the regulator won't let them sweep money from the front end into the back end, which they used to do, but now they can't. So effectively, Draghi's trying to get over that regulatory hurdle as well as maybe dealing with everything else.
I think he's trying, but I think there are a couple of hurdles still to overcome. One is, first, what is lying on the asset side of the bank's balance sheet, so the capacity or incapacity, if you want, to clean the balance sheet, and we have seen that in Italy, and it was fairly obvious that the new regulatory system was actually preventing them from doing a bad bank in order to clean the system. And the second thing is dealing with the capital buffer and the kind of rules governing, if you want, the regulatory system for the banks, and therefore the capacity to articulate this TLTRO with a kind of new regulatory constraint on the liability side of the banking system. It's far from granted that all this kind of various constraints and rules will be articulating in a way which will meaningfully help to support a pickup of credit activity.
Simon, just very briefly, how long will it take for the market to figure this one out?
Oh, we're going to rally certainly through the end of this quarter and probably through most of next quarter. It'll be sort of the second half of the year when we start to unravel what really the implications are for the broader economy or are not.